Hello there. I'm glad that you are able to join me for this tutorial. My name is Chinmaya, and in this video, I will tell you how to quickly create animated GIFs to liven up your presentations and websites. I will demonstrate an outstanding open source Windows software that is completely free and can help you create and edit animated GIFs very easily. Let's start with a quick review of what an animated GIF is, how it is different from a video file, and when it can be most useful. So GIF stands for Graphic Interchange Format. It's a very popular file format for images on the World Wide Web. Animated GIFs are typically a few frames of images displayed one after the other, and each frame being displayed after a set delay of time. And these images work in a loop, giving the appearance of a video. So here is a small example of an animated GIF. You can see 3 frames, and these 3 frames would be played in succession one after the other after a small time delay, and the ensemble appears like a video clip, as you can see right here. It appears as if a person is walking, and because this is playing in a loop, it gives the appearance of a picture in motion. The GIF file format supports 256 colors, and this is a little bit of a limitation, but nothing to really worry about. Animated GIFs do not include sound, unlike videos. And one of the great things about GIFs is that the file sizes are really much smaller as compared to videos. So even though they are able to portray motion, the size of files are much smaller as compared to videos. So animated GIFs can be very useful for capturing short animation sequences, and then you can just simply use it as a picture on your presentations, on your websites, attach it with emails, put them inside documents. You can use them like a normal picture in numerous applications. Let's see a few examples. So here we have an example of an animated GIF from the Google Dynamic World website, and you can see interpreted satellite pictures for 2 dates. And this is a forest fire that happened on August 14, 2021 in California. And this image is actually showing you how much of forest, which you can see in green, was burned and converted into shrub and scrub, which is yellow. So as this animated GIF is playing on my presentation slide, people who are watching the slide can actually see for themselves how much of the green area was converted into shrub and scrub shown by yellow as a result of this forest fire. This is another animated GIF that I have put on a slide, and this is just showing you 2 satellite images between 2018 and 2022. And as you can see, the green areas are forests or trees, red areas are built up. So as this slider moves from left to right, you can see how much forest has been lost to built area over a period of 4 years. So this is another example of how you can convey your story using an animated GIF on a slide. Yet another example of projecting some figures like a bubble chart in motion. So there are numerous sites that permit you to create motion charts, and you can capture that motion in an animated GIF as you are seeing on this slide. And this helps you convey your story in a much better way. Likewise for maps. So if you wanted to communicate something like a travel route or whatever else, so this is an animated GIF that is showing you a route that has been taken by an airplane. You can also record screenshots, or you can record code segments that can be reported for bugs, or that can be used to communicate operations of a software, as you can see on your screen. So this is an animated GIF which is going to run in a loop and will keep showing this animation of code over and over again. You can also use animated GIFs to capture animation on software like Google Earth, where you can actually just simply zoom in and record a tour. In this particular case, I am showing the Eiffel Tower, and this is like a bird's eye view. And I have recorded it as an animated GIF that will keep running in a loop. So I can really convey this story in a very powerful way on the slide. I'm just simply using it as a normal image, but this is an animated GIF. All you need to do with an animated GIF is to plop it on a slide and it will start working in a loop. And this is an animated GIF of a mouse over on Google Trends. So as you can see, I'm trying to compare the popularity for Google searches for 3 computer languages here: Java, Python, and C++ over a 5-year period. And you can see some dips and some peaks. So as I mouse over, I'm recording an animated GIF. As I move from one dip to another dip, you can see that this is happening every year during the holiday season. There are dates for these peaks also. So one can then research on the internet why there was a surge in interest for Python on a particular date. So this is how you can capture motion in an animated GIF and tell your story in a presentation or on a website in a very, very effective way. So the software that I will be demonstrating today is called as ScreentoGIF, and the software has been developed by a Brazilian developer, Nikkei Mandarin. This is open source and completely free software. It's at the moment available only for the Windows operating system. So as you reach this website, www.ScreentoGIF.com, I have given the link in the description below. You will see numerous download options right here. There is a portable version and there are versions for Windows 8 and Windows 7. There is also a 32-bit version of the software. So if you come down and expand this here, you will see that there are some other installation versions as well. So you can explore this. If you are running Windows 10 and 11, which should usually be the case with most of the people, all you need to do is to just come here and click on the package button right here, and your download should start almost immediately. So once this file has been downloaded, just double click on it and install it following screen instructions, and you are good to go. So you can visit this site www.ScreentoGIF and explore it further as well. So once your software is installed, we are ready to record animated GIFs. So let's see how to do that. So let's look at a few use cases on how we can use ScreentoGIF to create animated GIFs. Let us say, for example, I want to record something happening on my screen. In this particular case, say I wanted to demonstrate how to do optical character recognition in Microsoft OneNote. As you start ScreentoGIF, there are 4 options that you see on your screen. The first of which is recorder, which we will be using for this example. The second one is webcam, which basically means that you can open your webcam and record a few gestures. The third one is a whiteboard that is included inside ScreentoGIF, so you can draw something or write an equation or solve a small math problem and record it and convert it into an animated GIF. And the fourth one is an editor. So whatever you have recorded, you can edit before saving inside the editor. What the editor also permits you to do is to create a GIF without recording. If you already have a few frames, you can actually bring them inside the editor and then save them as an animated GIF. So I'll talk a little bit more about editing and recording on the whiteboard a little later on. Let's start by recording something on the screen and then convert it quickly into an animated GIF. So I will just start the recorder, and the first thing that you're going to see is a small frame, a ScreentoGIF frame. There are a few things I want to point out here. This is the frames per second that will be recorded. So we are currently set to record 15 frames in 1 second. We can reduce this to any number that we are comfortable with. Next, all you need to do is to just position this window on the area that you wish to record. So I'm going to just simply come here and position this window. So this is the area of the screen that I plan to record. And then all I have to do is to come down here and click on the record button. The moment I do this, I will have 2 more buttons available. One is pause and one is stop. So I can pause at any time and I can also stop once I am done. So let us start this recording. and I'm just going to come here and click on record. So this is the first tab that I have pressed. I'm going to go ahead and click on screen clipping. I will extract a small screen grab that is pasted inside OneNote. Then I'm going to right click, copy text from picture, and then right click and paste it as plain text. So once I'm through with this demonstration, I'm just going to come here and click on stop. And the moment I do this, ScreentoGIF editor opens up. You can see that it's processing all the frame grabs that it has had. So down here you can see that it has captured 379 frames, and you can play these frames one by one. So when you press this play button down here, this little blue highlight will keep moving one frame at a time, and you can see that it will show each frame for 97 milliseconds, this frame for 131 milliseconds, and so on and so forth. Later on, I'll show you how to change these time settings such that you can play a frame for longer or shorter durations. So let us just try this here, and the moment I play this animation, you will see on this counter the frame number that is being played. So it will start with 1 and then keep progressing till 379. So let's just go ahead and click on this. So you will see here that you are being shown the frame count that is being played, and the animation is moving forward. As the frames are being quickly played, it gives you the appearance of a video or a film, and this will keep going till it has finished 379 frames. So we can stop it at any time. We can go to the first frame, we can go to the last frame, and we can play this once again. So once we are happy with what we have on the screen, we can just simply go to File. So when you click on Save As, you will see this screen. The default save option is a GIF. It will be saved as an animated GIF, but there are a lot many other formats in which you can save this particular file, and I will briefly mention this a little later on. You can just scroll down to the bottom and you will see a few options. One is the folder in which you will be saving this animated GIF file, and second is the name that you can give to this GIF file. So let me just give it a name. I'm going to call it OCR. You will also notice that there is an option where you can put this animation in an endless loop. If you uncheck it, it will stop after one cycle. If this is unchecked, which is the default, it will keep playing again and again. So I'm just going to leave it just like this and then come here and click on Save. So you will see that it's processing and trying to save this animation, and this may, depending upon the total number of frames, take a few seconds. And once it is done, you will have your animated GIF file. So the processing is complete and the file is 1.6 MB. So I'm going to close ScreentoGIF because my job is done. So as we open this folder, you will see that this file is there and it is about 1.6 MB. So say for example you wanted to use this file in a PowerPoint presentation. All you need to do is to open PowerPoint and then just simply plop this file from the folder onto a slide, adjust it to the proper size, and you will see that it's already starting to play, and it'll just keep playing, and you can then just simply show it to the audience. So this will play in a loop and it will demonstrate the short sequence of menu options that is required for taking a screen grab and converting that grab into text. So as it reaches the end of the demonstration, it will start all over again and it will keep endlessly looping. So it starts all over again and it will keep looping like this till you move on to the next slide. So this is the simple case scenario that you can use to record anything on your screen and save it as an animated GIF. Not only you can use this file inside PowerPoint or any other document like Microsoft Word or LibreOffice Writer or LibreOffice Impress, you can mail this file to somebody if you wanted to explain how a particular operation is done. You can also embed it and put it inside a website. Let's now look at a few other scenarios and try to see some other features of Screen-to-GIF. Let's take another use case. I want to draw something on a whiteboard and create an animated GIF. So after I start Screen-to-GIF, I can just click on board, and then I can then immediately start drawing whatever I want to draw or write something. You will notice that this is by default set to auto record. So it will record 8 frames per second only when you are drawing. You can alter the width of the pen or choose a color from here. You can also fit it to a curve. So there are a lot of things that you can experiment with right here. So let's just go ahead and draw something. And as we draw, it keeps recording. And then you can just come here and stop. So when you stop, it opens up the editor. It has captured 42 frames, and we can start playing them and seeing how this works out. So let's draw on this little heart here on the screen, and it will keep playing it again and again till we stop it. Now there are a few things you can do using the editor. So let's go to edit, and let me show you a few things that we can do using the editor. So there are currently 42 frames. If we are happy with this, we can always go and save this as an animated GIF. But one of the possibilities though is that if there are a lot of frames that have been recorded and so many frames are not needed, you can always come here and choose to reduce the frame count. So as we click on this, you can choose how many frames alternatively will be deleted. So we will stick with the default for the time being. And what this basically means is that if you choose 1, it is going to make this frame count to exactly half. Every alternate frame will actually get deleted. And it is quite possible that there might not be any substantial noticeable effect on the drawing. So let's try this out. Let's go ahead and reduce the frame count. Currently the frame count stands at 42. We're going to come here and click on this and then come and apply. So when you do this, you are now left with 22 frames. Let us see how the figure is drawn again. So you can see that there is not very substantial perceptible difference in the drawing. So in this particular manner, you can actually reduce the frame count inside the editor. You can click on a frame and then just press delete. So that frame will get deleted. You can select a bunch of frames. For example, click on the first one, then press shift and click on the last one, and all these frames will get selected, and you can just press the delete button on your keyboard and all these frames will get deleted. So if you're not happy with something, you can just simply select all of those frames and delete them. If you select a particular frame, for example, I've selected this frame, I can move it to the left and you will see this moving to the left, or I can move it to the right. And in this particular case, you will see that each frame is timed for a certain amount of time. So I can select all of these frames by coming to the Home tab, select all, then I can revert back to my Edit tab, and I can override this timing for which each of these frames is being displayed. So I can just click on the override button, and then I can just come here and maybe display them for a shorter duration of time. This will be applied to all because we have selected all the frames. You can also individually apply it to a group of frames or one frame by choosing that group or one single frame, as I have shown before. So let's just apply this change timing, and you will notice that the individual timings will now be changed to 100 milliseconds. So you can now see the change timing. So this is playing a lot faster now. So if you wanted to do this, you can actually do this quite easily in ScreentoGIF by overriding the timing. The second button is for the same purpose, only that it just simply goes ahead and adds a certain value to the existing value. So say for example, if I wanted to increase the timing to about 200 milliseconds, I'm going to type in 100, and this is going to add to the already existing 100 seconds that each of these frames have for their timing. So I can come back here and select all once again and then add 100, and this should become 200 milliseconds. So using this button on the edit tab, you can actually add or decrease any value that is already applied to a frame. So you can see that the drawing is now animated a little slowly. I'm going to stop this. If you select a particular frame using these buttons, you can delete all the frames beyond this, or you can delete all the frames before it. So let us say, for example, if I come here and the current frame count is 22, and if I press this button and go ahead and do a yes, you will see that 3 frames before that particular chosen frame have now been deleted. You can always come to home and undo it. So those 3 frames are back again and you are good to go as normal. So you can explore these options on the edit tab. This actually does the same thing to the timings, except that it is scaling it by a certain percent amount. So you can try this out as well. Once you are done, you can just come here and click on File and save it as an animated GIF. Before we do that, let me just show you one other option. So when you click on the Image tab, there are a lot of things that you can do here. Anything that you do here or inside ScreenToGIF is applicable to the frame that you have selected. So if you want something to happen on all the frames, you will have to go to Home and select all the frames. If you want something to happen to a particular frame or a bunch of frames, you will have to select those frames, and then whatever you're going to do here will be applicable only to these 4 frames or this one single frame, or otherwise coming to Home and all frames. So if I wanted to have a background to this image, I can just come to the Home tab, select all the frames, then go to the Image tab, and then just click on Watermark, and then just quickly come here and choose a picture. So I have a picture here and I will just open it. So you will see that the picture has been added to the background as a watermark, and we can control the opacity of this picture by choosing this number here. And once we are happy with it, we can just simply go ahead and press apply. So that background will be added to all the frames, and then we can just simply go ahead and just try this out. It's working perfectly fine, and once we are happy with it, we can just simply go ahead and save it. You can explore some of the other options right here. You can add a caption, you can add some text here, you can add a shape, and so on and so forth. I will show you how to do this in a little while. So once we are happy, we can just come here and click on Save, and like the previous time, we can just come here and give it a name. In this case, I will just say heart and just go ahead and press save. So once the image has been saved, I can just close my ScreenToGIF editor and head to this particular folder, and you will see that this is an animated image that we have just saved. It has a size of 214 kilobytes. So you can just click on it and it will play, and you can use it anywhere you want. So this is the whiteboard feature of ScreentoGIF. Let us now see a third case of creating an animated GIF. We are not going to record anything from the screen. We are not going to record anything from our webcam. We are not going to record anything from the whiteboard. We will instead open the editor, So when you do that, you have all options available to you. You can start a new recording as we were doing before, or otherwise we can come and start a blank project. So I'm going to do that. And the first thing that it wants to know is the size of the canvas. So let us say, for example, I already have a few pictures and I want to create an animated GIF sequencing these pictures one after the other. So I'm going to click and open one of these pictures in the default application and right click and try to find out file info. If you have a different photo viewer, you can scout to find out the option that shows you the size of the image. So in this particular case, my image is 193 into 260 pixels. So once I know this information and I can see that all other images are of the same size, I can then just change this to the appropriate size. So I'm going to enter 193 and the height is going to be 260. So once I'm done with the correct size, I can apply and it creates a canvas that is matching the size of the images that I want to bring in. So I've started a blank project, created a custom canvas, and I can now open my folder and bring each one of these images either one by one or bring them all in a bunch if the order is not really important. In this case, let me just pick up one and drop it on this canvas. So you will see that a screen is presented and it says that your current image size is this and your canvas size is this. So this is exactly matching and we can just go ahead and press OK. So we have now inserted our first frame without recording anything on the screen. Let me just open this up. So you will notice that there is a blank frame that has now been inserted automatically. So we can click on this blank frame and then open our folder and repeat this process one by one. So I can just bring the second image. If I want these images in an order, I will have to bring them one by one. If the order is not really important, I can just choose all of these images. So I've picked up the remaining images as a bunch by pressing Ctrl and picking them all up, and then just simply coming here and dumping them and then pressing OK. So all of these images have arrived. They might not be in order. So say for example, I wanted this to be my last image. So I can just click on this, go to my edit tab and just keep moving it to the position that I want it to be in. I can likewise adjust any image that I want. So say for example, if I wanted to bring this as the last image, I can just move it there. So once I'm happy with all this, you will notice that it has automatically been given a default play time of 66 milliseconds. So let us just try this out. We now have a sequence which we have not recorded, but we have actually brought them from inside a folder. So let us just play this and see. So because it's just 66 milliseconds per frame, it is moving very fast. So I can just stop this and select all of my frames, come to home, select all, and then go back to edit and override this default timing. Maybe let us put it to about 300 milliseconds and see what happens. Play once again. So like this appears to be a little better, and maybe on this last frame I want to linger on for a little longer. So I can come here and override this and maybe make it to about 800 milliseconds, something like this. Let us try this out now. So we can actually individually or as a group alter the timings. So once we are satisfied with everything, we can just get rid of this blank frame. Just come here, select this frame and just go ahead and delete it by pressing the delete on your keyboard and press yes. So we now have a sequence of images that we can just go ahead and save from the file tab as we have done before, and we have created an animated GIF using images that we already had on our computer. Let me show you one other thing that we can do is to add a transition. So I'll just select my last frame and then just go to transitions and add a transition. So when it loops back to the first frame, it's not going to directly loop back to the first frame, but do it with some transition like slide or fade. So let me choose the slide transition. So you can see that it's going to add transitions after my last frame here. I can alter the transition length, making it a little bit longer or shorter. Let us keep it at around 4 and then just go ahead and press apply. So you will see that once my last frame has been displayed, it's going to slide back to the first frame, giving a little effect here. So let us try to play this out. So you can see after the last frame, it slides back to the first frame. So in this manner, from the transition tab, you can actually add a few frames after the last frame, and you can have a transition effect moving from the last frame to the first frame. So once everything is in order, you can come to the File tab and click on Save As. You will see that the default is GIF. So we can just go to the bottom of this screen and give it a different name, say for example exercise, and just go ahead and save it. But before I do that, let me show you, apart from GIF, you can save in a number of different formats. And if I can just expand this drop down, you will see that GIF is the default alternative, that is animated GIF, but you can save it as a animated portable network graphics file. The quality is a little bit better, but animated PNGs are not supported by PowerPoint or Impress. So if you are wanting to use this animation on a slideshow, it is better to save it as an animated GIF. You can save it as WebP. You can even save this as a video, and you have all formats of video, including MP4. You can save these frames as individual pictures. And if you want to revisit this project again, say for example, you want to come back and work on this project once again, add a few images, delete something, you can also save it as a ScreentoGIF project. So if you choose this and save it, you will find that you can always revisit it once again and make these changes. So I've just saved it as a project. I can also come now and save it as an animated GIF and then go ahead and press save. So once this has been saved, you will notice that there are two icons here. So you can open this inside the folder. I'm going to click on the folder icon right here, and you will see that this file has now been saved. The total size of this animated GIF is 70.3 KB or 70 kilobytes. So when you click on this, you will see that this GIF is running as expected, and it is also showing you the slide transition effect. So this is how you can create a blank project and bring in images that are already stored on your computer's hard disk and create an animated GIF out of those pictures. It helps a lot if all these pictures that you plan to put in inside the animation are of the exact same size, such that you don't have to struggle with the canvas size or trying to bring every picture to the same size inside ScreentoGIF. So that is the minimal amount of preparation that you have to do before you can start a blank project and create an animated GIF using pictures that you have on your computer. So let me now show you a use case which we can utilize to create something really useful and interesting. I have started Google Earth Pro, and I have zoomed into an area of Amazon that has seen severe deforestation in the last 5 decades. So if you are familiar with Google Earth Pro, you will see that there is a historical imagery bar here. So you can slide it to see the state of forest at different times. So as I move to the left side, you will see that in 1984, this was the condition of forests in this region. As we move forward to 1994, you will see that some amount of logging has started here and at other places. And then as we move forward, you will see that more areas of forests have been cleared. And as we progress to 2020, which is the last picture of this area, you will see that massive amounts of forests have been cleared over the last 50 years, starting from 1984. So I want to capture 5 frames that actually show this situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this down to 1984. So this is December 1984. This was the condition of forests in December 1984 in this particular region. So let me now start ScreentoGIF. This time around, I'm going to use Recorder. We can take snaps of these images and create an animated GIF using the editor as I have shown you in the exercise example previously. But I'm going to do this using the Recorder. So I will click on this. The next thing I want to do is to just put this frame and adjust it to the area that I wish to record. So this is roughly the area that I plan to record, and I'm going to go to view and add scale. So this gives some element of scale. Now what I'm going to do is, before I press record, I will click on this button here, the FPS button right at the bottom of the screen, as you can see. So by default, it records, when I press the record button, it will record 8 frames per second. But I have numerous options that I can actually use. When I click on this FPS button one more time, you will see that it becomes FPM, and this means frames per minute. When I click on this one more time, this becomes FPH. This means 8 frames per hour. I click on it one time, it becomes manual. So clicking on this FPS button, it keeps moving forward. And the one that I want to use for this example is manual. So you will notice now that instead of record, if I can just push this up a little bit for the purposes of illustration. As I keep pressing this button, it just keeps circulating between FPS, FPM, FPH, 8 frames per hour, and manual. So this time I want to actually do manual. And once I bring this thing on manual, you will see that there is no record button, but a snap button. So let me readjust this and bring it in alignment with the area that I wish to record. Now, this is the condition in 1984. So I'm going to come here and click on snap. So you will notice that 1 frame has been added here. I can now move forward and go to 1994. So this is the condition of the forests in the area in 1994. I'm going to come back here and click on snap. You will now notice that a stop button has also been added here. So whenever I want to stop, I can click on this. So as I click on snap, you will see that a second frame has been added to this collection. I will advance this to 2004 and let us see what has happened after 1 decade. So substantial clearing of forests after 1 decade in 2004. So I'm going to come here and take a snap of this. So 3 pictures or 3 frames have been added here now. I'm going to move this to 2014. And click on snap. So this will add 1 more here. So now 4 frames have been added. And finally, I'm going to go to the last picture that has been taken by satellite in 2020. So you can see massive clearing of forests in this area. I'm going to go ahead and click on snap. I have captured images of all 5 time intervals. So I can stop now. So the moment I press this stop button, you will see that I'm transported back again into ScreentoGIF, and I can then just simply go ahead and play these pictures. And if I wanted to, I can just go ahead and save them, but I will show you a few other things that we can do with this. So first of all, if you wanted to change the time, you can go ahead and go to edit, select all these images and override the time. So in this particular case, I'm not going to do that. What we can also do is to go to image and then add a caption. So I'm going to select my first image and add a caption. And this is 1984. So I've chosen the color, make it bold, etc. Just press apply. So 1984 has been added to the center of this particular image. I'm coming to my second image and clicking on caption, and then I will just add the 1994 caption here. You will see that you can control where this caption is going to appear from these two boxes. Bottom, it can be top, center, bottom, or it can be horizontal, that is on this axis, as center, left, or right, and you can choose how much margin you want to give. I'm going to go ahead and press apply. So on my second picture, I now have 1994. I'll select my third picture, go back again and add 2004, apply, select my fourth picture and add in a caption, and this is going to be 2014, and in this particular case the last image was taken by a satellite in 2020. I'm going to do that right here. So what I can also do is to go to the file tab and I can insert another picture right here. So what I plan to do now is to just click on recording and zoom out of this area just to give a bird's eye view of where this particular location is. I've already marked this location here. So I'm going to switch this on and I'm going to snap a picture of this as well. And then just go ahead and press stop. So as I do this, it comes back and says that there is a difference or whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and press OK. And it brings in that picture inside the frame timeline here. I can go to edit and move it to the extreme left. So my animation now starts with the location. Let us play this. It then shows 1994, 2004, 2014, 2020, starts the location, and it keeps looping again and again, trying to show how things have changed over a period of time. So I can now just simply go here and save it as an animated GIF and call it deforestation and go ahead and press save. I could have altered the timings if I was not happy with it. So it's processing, it's complete. As we open this folder, you will find the animated GIF and we can just double click on it and run it. So you can see that you have created something really useful using manual snaps in ScreentoGIF. In the last case that I want to show, we have started ScreentoGIF and I'm going to click on editor. And this time around, I'm going to load a video. You can also load any previously created animated GIF file, but I'm going to click on load and this is from the file menu. So I'm going to come here and click on load, and I have a small video here. This is an MP4 video. So I'm going to click on this and press open. So when you open a video in ScreentoGIF, you will find that it presents you with the timeline of the video, and you can choose the portion that you want to bring inside ScreentoGIF. So as I move, you can see the video playing, and I can decide from which part of the video I would like to import inside ScreentoGIF. So just for the sake of brevity, I will be importing a few seconds of this video starting from here to here. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So when you do that, those frames are imported inside from the video, and you can see that these are 75 frames and I can play them. So as I play them, you will see that there are a number of flowers in this field that are moving constantly. Everything is in motion here inside this particular video. So from the image tab, there is an option called as Cinemagraph. So Cinemagraph is basically a still image, and on this still image we can make only one element of the image move. So it gives the appearance as if you are actually watching something animated, but all parts of the image will remain static and only one part of the image will actually move. So you can read a little about Cinemagraph on Wikipedia. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to come and click on Cinemagraph. So let us just first play and see that flowers and glass blades are moving. So I want to make sure that everything is still and only this blade of grass is moving. So this is really not very much in focus, but I want only this part of all these frames to move and everything else to become static. So it will give the appearance of a still photograph and only one element of the photograph, this little blade of grass, will keep moving. So I'm going to stop this animation here, and then I can just come here and click on home and select all the frames that I have, and then I'm going to go and click on the image tab here and then click on Cinemagraph. So as I click on Cinemagraph, I have options here. One side is erasers and the other side is pen. If I'm using a pen, I need to demarcate an area that will cover the portions that I want to move. So let me just increase the width of the pen here and make it, let us say, for example, 15, and the height of the pen also around 15. So what I'm going to do now is to just color all the areas that I want to be in motion, and everything else will then remain static. So this is going to move in every frame and everything else will remain static. So you don't need to be very precise, but then you have to mark this in a manner that it makes sense. So all this portion has now been marked, and you have to make sure that it covers the entire area that will be covered by the movement by that grass blade. If there is something that you have done extra, just pick up the eraser and then just simply go ahead and erase it. So once I have demarcated that area, I can just come here and press apply. So this processing goes on for a little while, and now when we start playing this, you will see that all the flowers that were initially moving, they are now not moving, they are static, and just a few blades of grass, the ones that I had demarcated, are in motion. Everything else is static. So you can use ScreentoGIF to create a cinemagraph. You can improve this quite substantially if you wanted to, and go back and erase and redo this again. But then I hope that this gives an idea of what a cinemagraph is and how you can create a cinemagraph in ScreentoGIF. So once you have done this, obviously you can come here and go to File and Save as an animated GIF and then share it. The playback tab has buttons that are available at the bottom, so there's nothing very substantial here. And you can choose not to play back in a loop if you don't want that to happen. So the statistics tab has all information about the frame count, the duration of selected frames, the size of the frame, and so on and so forth. And you can select a few frames and play and see the time that it is taking for those frames to finish. So this is what is available on the statistics tab. Transitions we have already seen. Image, you can use many options. If you don't want a certain part of the image to be visible, you can obfuscate that particular part. You can add a border around this animated GIF file. You can also add shadow around this GIF file. You can also freely draw something on this animated GIF file. Always remember, whatever you are drawing will only draw on the selected frame. So if you want something to appear on all the frames, you have to go to home and select all of them. On the home tab, you can then use the go to button to navigate to a particular frame if you wanted to. Say, for example, out of these 75 frames, if I wanted to go to a particular frame like 55, I can enter that value here and reach that particular frame, as you can see here. And the file menu, of course, can start a new recording or add to an existing recording. And it can also load static images or videos, as we have done in this particular case. And it can also help you open recent projects. So everything that you are saving is listed here, and you can click on it and get it back here, even if you have not saved it as a project. But if you haven't saved it as a project, this timeline can actually get deleted from time to time. So if you are really wanting to get back to a particular project, it is always wise to go ahead and save it as a project. Finally, if you come and click on extras on the extreme right, you have options, and you can choose many options to customize the application, the recorder, the editor. So you can explore this dialog, and you can make ScreentoGIF customized to your preferences. So this is a really good option, a very well designed software with a great user interface. The options button is also available from the opening dialog of ScreentoGIF, and you can customize this software in multiple languages. I would like to compliment Nikki Mandarin for developing and sharing this wonderful software. I hope this video was useful, and I hope that it will help you get started on ScreentoGIF. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Thanks a lot for watching.